Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the officially unofficial Geek channel, Spoilertastic Weekly Comic Review. My name is Carrie Quinn. I am the OUG, and I'm here to tell you about comic books. But first, let's roll that intro so you know all the info, and we'll get back to it in just a moment. Yes, indeedy, this is the officially unofficial Geek channel, Spoilertastic Weekly Comic Review. My name is Carrie, as I mentioned prior, and I will be sitting here telling you about the comic books that I read this week. And in the most spoilertastic, um, well, let me put it to you this way. I try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, as much as possible. However, I put that spoilertastic on the review to make sure that just in case I do get spoilery, I mean, it's no harm, no foul. I warned you ahead of time. I do talk some in depth about the comics here, but let's get into it and you'll see what I mean. But just realize I warned you. Anyways, guys, as always, we're going to count these down in no particular order until we reach the final three, our top three comics of the week. And I'll let you know when we get there. Um, anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to start with the new Punisher #1. Y'all, Punisher #1. This is David Pepose, um, Dave Watcher, and Dan Brown. Now, when I say new Punisher, yes, it is a new #1. And it is a new Punisher. Guys, um, this is not Frank Castle, okay? So if you're thinking about jumping into the new Punisher series, thinking, man, didn't I hear that Frank Castle died? Well, yes, Frank Castle died, and Frank Castle is still dead. However, we have a new Punisher, and it says the man is different. The mission remains the same. Ho, ho, ho. So we're introduced to the new Punisher in this series, this issue. Um, and there's a lot of controversy involving changing this up the way they did. Let's see here. I'm trying to get the new name here. Because I forgetting it for the time being. All right. Where is it? Doops. Where is the name? God damn. Where is the name? I know it's in here. What's his fucking name? Yeah. Yeah. What's the fucking name? Yeah, yeah. What's the fucking name? Yeah, yeah. Hold on. So you have the news broadcast talking about the new Punisher. Okay, so Joe Garrison. Thank you very much, Joe Garrison. Okay, that is the new Punisher. I'm sorry that took me so long, and I'm not going to edit that out, but guys, you guys are going to get to sit there and see me fumbling through the issue of Punisher because that's real life, y'all. That's real life. Sometimes I have to fumble through the book and remember what the dude's name is because he's the Punisher, he's the new Punisher, he's not Frank Castle, so we have to find out his name. And it is Joe Garrison. Joe Garrison is the new Punisher. So, those of you that were upset that the Punisher kind of went away from their normal Punisher skull will be happy to see it back. But what's really funny about this is it kind of downplays the presence of the skull in the armor in this issue, like because they're like the skull is back and it's like I think he had a skull on his chest and Joe Garrison here is just like um fucking ballistic chest plates look like a goddamn skull. Like, that's basically the explanation you're given for the skull being back. It's not actually some kind of choice besides the choice to protect himself. Yeah, y'all, it's no actual choice except for to protect himself. What I like about this is that we have a similar structure. We have to the story of Frank Castle, whereas in his family, Joe Garrison's family has been killed, um, basically due to some stuff that may or may not be loosely based to stuff he used to do for a living. Um, there's this whole idea that he has special ops, that he has history in Shield and all that. So um, yeah, there all of that is laid out here. He has a handler, which is basically kind of um, his Oracle, his Alfred, his all that. Where her name is AAA, and AAA is kind of guiding him um, using the tech that they have. Okay, so same structure, like I said, on the whole story of Frank Castle, wherein you have this dude who his family was taken out, and he knows by whom, and he's going to go and he's going to take care of the situation. And this is basically the gist of the entire first issue. Um, his family, like when I say they've been completely knocked out, they were knocked out. They were killed. Two kids, one wife. That's the tragedy of the situation that produces the Joe Garrison Punisher. And he is basically like he wasn't going, he did special ops, he did all this stuff for Shield, it seems like, and it seems like he was getting away from it. He was actually doing okay getting away from all this stuff because he made a promise to his wife, who is now been killed, deceased. And now that she's gone, and he spends this entire issue um, basically avenging his wife and his kids' murder. Um, Once that's done, he's like, now I can go back to work. Okay, so he's just like, you know what? Everything that I lived for and I stopped doing this for is gone. You know how I'm gonna repay everyone for taking it from me? I'm gonna go kick some ass and kill some people now. And that is something that should make the traditional Punisher set very happy. That we're kind of getting back to basics here with the Punisher brand. Um, Not that there was anything wrong from what I could tell. I have not read it in its entirety yet. The Jason Aaron run I know was a little bit controversial with excuse me, with certain people, certain readers that expected certain things from their Punisher comics. Um, it was kind of controversial. However, I think these people that used to read the Punisher and had problems with the Jason Aaron run could actually probably jump into this, and it has the same kind of idea um, of uh, high impact ultra violence and the man with the mission as vengeance because of his family being killed. And that will appeal to people that had a little bit of an issue and took a little bit of an issue probably with the Jason Aaron Punisher run. Um, Solid art throughout. David Papos has a good, solid introduction written here for Joe Garrison's Punisher, giving us enough of the, you know, what he's fighting for idea, telling us exactly where he's coming from and why he's doing what he's doing. And And with the art, I kind of like the separation of that, using that the tones, the art, the little shift in style between showing us what's going on right now versus showing us what's going on, what happened in the past, where Joe is coming from. Um, Definitely using kind of the darker tones when you're dealing with what's happening now, darker, more violent, reds, blacks, grays, dark browns, um, that kind of thing. That's very dark. But then when you get to a point um, where you're kind of getting more information about who Joe is, who he was, you get a change to kind of a sepia tone, like an antique sepia tone. And that's something that was very, very good choice, and took us um, into that area, and gave us information about this dude and where he was coming from. Um, and I think that the choice to, because it's really interesting when we have this. He's like, I made her a promise, I'm never going back. But this is one of those things where it's like, once he's done dealing with it, he's ready to go back to work. And you get the idea that she and his kids are very much on his mind, because um, of what happened. And yeah, um, might actually keep this up. Not hating it, not, like, see, okay, so this is kind of giving you a clear picture of what's going on with the armor. So you definitely have the look to the armor is like the skull, but it's really interesting because he's just like, that's just how the freaking armor looks, and I love that. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Um, we'll see where this goes. We'll definitely see where this goes. Next book I'm going to talk to you about is Dawn of DC, Batman, number 139, Legacy 904. Um, we've got Zdarsky, Jimenez, Corona, Mori, and Placentica. And this is the beginning of the Mind Bomb arc. Okay, guys, if you have been reading Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman, you know where we started, where we've been, where we're going to possibly. You know, at least this is going to be something heavily having to do with Zur and R, the alter ego, not alter ego, like the other personality in Batman's brain. Um, and Zur and R is hellbent on destroying the Joker. So after the circumstances of the Gotham War, after all that went down, Batman has kind of distanced himself from the rest of the Bat family. And for this reason, because he has a specific goal. He wants to end the Joker once and for all. Now, one can understand that that is probably having to do, in part, with the presence of Zur-En-Arrh in his head, operational. And so with that, we have the beginnings of Batman pulling himself away, taking on another alter ego of Lenny, the docks worker. Um, Lenny the docks worker. One has to wonder how someone came with the idea of, let's call him Lenny. Lenny sounds like a docks worker kind of name. We'll call him Lenny. So you have a lot of your process in the mind of Bruce slash Lenny slash Zur-En-Arrh slash Batman. Um, a lot of that exists within the narration, which is fine because Batman is alone with his thoughts mostly, so that would look like narration in a book. So Batman has this idea that he is going to stop the Joker once and for all. Okay, so how's he going to go about doing this? Well, apparently the Joker is making it gosh darn easy on him by going after people that trained Batman early in his career. Now, um, that's yeah, the Joker's making it real easy on Batman, and something tells me the Joker is very much aware of the position that Batman is in with his situation because the Joker is purposely pulling shit in front of Batman to bring Zur-En-Arrh to the forefront because I think the Joker thinks this is fun. And that makes sense. That makes sense that the Joker would feel that way. I guess that definitely tracks. um, but yeah, that's pretty much Batman at this point. That's where we are with that one, right? Pause there for a second. Anyways, guys, I'm back. Let's see here. Next book that we're going to talk about, we're going to move on along to the, well, we just talked about the Joker here, and we're going to talk about the Joker again. The ultimate ending issue of the Joker, the man who stopped laughing, number 12. It's over, and I read it. So let me tell you about it here right now. We've got Matthew Rosenberg, D. Giomencano, Giamencio, something like that. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. And Fajaro Jr. I should really learn how to pronounce some of these names, I swear to God. And we've got, like I said, last issue of The Joker, the man who stopped laughing. And the premise throughout this entire book has been there's more than one Joker. Who's the real Joker? And we have a culmination, fight to the finish, and one man basically comes out, and it's the Joker. Um, that is basically the easiest nut in a nutshell version of what happened in this. And there's more to it. There's way more excitement, but that's just a very simple statement to make. And it's actually very fitting. It's very fitting that that's the statement to make involving the man who stopped laughing, because that's exactly what happens. There's more to it than that. But the overall gist of it is there's been more than one Joker, at times two, at times three Jokers throughout this entire thing. We've been given, we've been spending up to issue 11, through issue 11, with secondary stories giving us clues. And those were really some good stories. And I have to tell you, I really enjoyed those because they had a very much silly retro feel to them. And um, those stories were supposed to give you some kind of clues as to what was really going on in the main story, with there being more than one Joker. So we have a variety cast of characters here. We have the two Jokers. We have both of their sets of teams. We have Jason Todd. We have um, Batman. We have Ravager. We have the oh God, what is her name? And they don't use her name in this, but I wouldn't mind seeing more of her. But she is the vigilante from Los Angeles that tracked one of her Jokers here back to Gotham, and has been fighting that way. Um, everybody makes an appearance. all those all those make an appearance, and basically what happens is it's your it's a trope, but it's a trope because it works kind of situation where it's a mad dash to save Gotham, and also um, get rid of the Joker, and that's what Jason Todd is doing. Red Hood is doing, um, and in the end, only one Joker remains. And we're sure of this, y'all, because there's a train crash and the train goes into the water. And into the water, basically, is also the two Jokers. And they fight it out underwater. And one of the Jokers beheads the other one and comes out with their head. So they are the reigning Joker. Seems pretty, like, hey, there you go. That's the end of the story. And I sound like I'm being all laissez-faire about it, or being all like, maybe not laissez-faire. That's the wrong word I'm looking for, but it sounds like I'm being apathetic about that. If it sounds like I'm being apathetic about it, no, no, it couldn't be further from the case. I am actually very satisfied with the ending of this series. Um, it's just so it's been very entertaining, but it is a simple concept, um, of trope and that kind of thing, that it's just a fun, refreshing, um, and at times funny tale, um, following an old trope. Like, will the real Joker please stand up? We've seen this before, yes. However, sometimes the twist can make an old trope entertaining again, which is what happened here. Moving on, let's talk about Creepshow, Volume 2, Number 3, Issue 3. Creepshow continues to deliver on creepiness, deluxe, fun. Two stories here. One where a woman has developed a situation where she can live practically forever and what that's like, and the other one with a heist on the water involving a monster that um, loves red diamonds. Yeah, when it comes right down to it, when you say it out loud, it's not as entertaining as when you read it. um, One complaint, the first tale, called Eternity, was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's about the woman who developed scientific ways to live forever, and how even at the end of everything, she's still there and she's bored. Like, I love that. That was a great story. And then you have the second story, um, where I feel like it ended a little bit abruptly. Um, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't feeling it as much as I felt the first tale, which really kind of, the first story really carries the book for me, but it's still good. Um, Creators here on this book are Zoe Thorogood, Joel Farrelly, and Goran Suduka. Um, I've been having a lot of fun with the Creepshow stuff from Image Skybound, so overall, with maybe a little bit of issue with that second story, um, good book, good fun. Moving on to another Image comic, a premiere this past week is called Petrohead by Rob Williams and Pi Parr. Welcome to the non-human race. So, I've seen other people read this and review it. So here's the deal. This is what I think of this. I think I'm going to have to read issue 2. There are elements of this that I find very interesting. Um, and there are elements about it that just, I could definitely understand why people are raving about this, but it's not hitting with me. Some very beautiful color choices in the art. Very interesting storyline where we have a post-apocalyptic dystopian type of universe where um, it doesn't seem like anyone is really a dominant race, whether it be robots or humans, but yet it is. Um, we had a circumstance in the past of this book um, that's displaying where the petroheads were in robots would have cars and they would race them, and that would be entertainment for humans. And then we get to a certain point in the history contained within this book where that's illegal now. But yet this one robot still wants to have his own car. And he comes across a scientist and his daughter who are on the run from the law and decides he's going to help them. Okay. Like, there's nothing inherently really wrong with this thing, but there's also not enough to really keep me going, and maybe I'm missing the point. That's also possible. I could very well be missing the point, but I am intrigued enough to give it another issue. Um, I know that my boyfriend just absolutely loved this, so I might have to talk to him later a little bit more about it and see if I'm just missing the point. It's possible. I could be missing it. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about the return, another Image comic of Phantom Road. I got um, Walta and Lemire cover celebrating 20 years of The Walking Dead. As you can see, there's Michonne sitting on the front of the semi with her katana. Um, I just I don't I'm normally not a mark for those kind of covers, but I love the retro look of it, and so it did not matter to me that it had just Michonne out of nowhere sitting on the semi from Phantom Road. So we are joining Dom and all that back in their hellscape. I want to guess they have to make this delivery of this kid, this alien like hellscape thing that's like a parallel universe to the real world where you have the FBI agent trying to figure out what's going on, and there's a windy road information wise involving what's going on, and she doesn't know who to trust. Um, and of course, you have Dom and the woman that's with him, and the name is escaping me right at this moment. I read a lot of books, guys. Yeah, um, where they're trying to figure out everything else going on where they are, only to encounter somebody running away from them after they found somebody had made a fire. So basically, yeah, that's what's going down. That's how this is going down. Writing team is Jeff Lemire, Gabriel Walta, and Jordi Belair. And this is typical Jeff Lemire. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, probably. I'm going to say it right now. I'm probably going to say it again in the future because I am still reading other Jeff Lemire books besides this one where that is the case. Jeff Lemire has this way of writing something where normally, under normal circumstances, if I can't figure anything the fuck out, that turns me off to a book sometimes. But for some reason, Jeff Lemire can write so that I can't tell what the fuck is going on, but I'm intrigued to keep reading. That's what Jeff Lemire does. So there you go. There you go. Next book we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Boombox. Um, Zawa #1, and Zawa and the Belly of the Beast #1, done by Boom. And let's see here, we've got Michael um, Dialanas on this book. Um, who is that cover? Hold on. They signed it, but I can't read it. That's how that is, you know. Uh, oh, oh, it's Jorge Corona and Sarah Stern. And now looking at it, I definitely get that. I definitely get that it's, oh wow, that book is damaged. That did not print right. It's a little slit. Like you can definitely not tell on camera, but it's a little slit in the spine right here. Well, no, maybe you can tell on camera because when you open it up, damn, that sucks. I like that back cover as well. So this is another one that's just like, what the heck is going on? And it's not Jeff Lemire though. What the heck is going on? I'm not sure what's going on, but I definitely want to read the next one. Um, and it's written, illustrated, colored, lettered, and everything by this dude, Michael Dialanis. He did it all, y'all. Even the freaking lettering too. Like, so you have like this um, beast underneath this city, and it's in the area that's kind of like the landfill for the mayor's factory. And there's this whole idea that you have a very similar situation where it's supposedly the government is supposed to provide for you, but the government's not actually providing for you. Um, and so these kids decide, these like young adults decide they're going to go steal from the factory because they've done it before. And when they almost get caught, one of them jumps down the trash chute and comes in contact with the beast in the trash heap that's being kept there. Um, and that's her. I'm going to assume it's a her. I'm assuming it's a her because it's we're assuming things, yes, because it might not be a her, but the way the context of what has been given to us helps me assume that it's a, yeah. You get what I'm saying? This is not. You get what I'm saying. You really do. I'm sure you do. Golly gee willikers. Um, okay, guys. All right. One more book, and then we're at our top three. I'm trying to get this as quickly as possible to make sure that everybody wants to watch the show, um, and it doesn't go off too long. Birds of Prey, #3. Um, Thompson, Romero, and Belair. I am fine now with the coloring the way it is. Last month I was a little uneasy about the coloring, and I'm getting definitely the feel, the look of this entire book is going more and more retro. So that was a obviously a artist and production team choice, because yes, it's definitely got that feel. It's got the look of what it would look like on actual newsprint. Um, but yeah, now. So we are continuing the story of Birds of Prey, Canary is looking for her sister and needs to find her sister on Themyscira, and she has developed a team to help her do that. And this issue is basically them getting on the island and starting to look for Sin, that is Black Canary's sister. And all in all, we get to the point where at the end, Wonder Woman is showing up because, well, the Birds of Prey actually just went to Themyscira and started running around Themyscira, um, and getting into fights. So that's how that went down. That's basically how it went down. It's an interesting story. I'm enjoying reading the story. Nothing really earth shattering. It's just a fun read. That's it. I'm not looking for anything to be actually earth shattering in Birds of Prey. Um, I just like a fun read sometimes involving a team of female superheroes, considering we don't have a lot of options when it comes to that. And yeah, I'm down with that. Um, that is a whole other rant for a whole other time. If I allow myself to go down that rabbit hole, we'll be here a while. Okay? We'll be here a while. But I want to tell you something, just to give you an idea of my mindset right now involving female superhero team ups versus male superhero team ups or co ed superhero team ups. I'm going to tell you something. You have, with the exception of Birds of Prey, one other female superhero team up going on right now. One that I can think of in DC. In DC, we're just talking DC. That's under a regularly scheduled production publication schedule. Okay? You take all those factors. We have two female superhero team up. That is Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville. Where Fire and Ice, for some reason, it feels like they're being kind of forced to sit in Smallville and open a nail salon. Whereas World's Finest, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, which I started reading, has two male superheroes going out doing superhero-y type stuff. I would, of course, shut up a lot more about this. But I think you see where I'm going with this. Fire and Ice, female team up, regularly scheduled publication setup, monthly. The same as World's Finest. Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Batman and Superman running around doing superhero-y things. Fire and Ice are being kind of forced to take a sabbatical, live in Smallville, and open a nail salon. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to expand on that idea more. If you would like to see a video about me expanding on that idea more of the difference between female superhero team ups versus male or co-ed superhero team ups that are being regularly published on a regular publication schedule with DC Comics. And I'll go for it. I'll let it loose. I don't know how you're going to feel about it once I let it loose, but if you want it, I'll give it to you. Let me know. and I'll do it. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead. We've gotten to the top 3. Are you ready for the top 3 of my books for this week? We've got some indie. We, uh, I don't know if we could really call this company indie anymore. They have been a force in the comic community for over 30 years. But yes, we have 2 Image comics and 1 DC comic. That's of my top 3 of the week. My top 3 of the week. That was a little nuts. I'm not gonna do that again. Yes, I'm probably gonna do that again. I'm gonna do shit like that again all the time. But first, top 3 contestant. We're gonna talk about midlife, how to hero at 50 from Image Comics. Number 2, Buccellato, Simone, and Otis Main Alaho. Um, Yowzas, this was a lot of fun to read, and I hope you guys are reading it. It's really cute. This is basically picking up the story right where we left it in the issue 1, where dude is finding out that he is basically he's like Daenerys Targaryen. He can't be burnt. Okay, um, he cannot be burnt, and that allows him to figure out, how can I do something with this? Can I, help people? And it gives him the opportunity to feel um, the beginnings of a life where he feels like he's providing more to the community. So he finds this old um, antique fireman's helmet, and he has a friend that's in um, movies that makes like flame retardant, um, flame resistant, excuse me, flame resistant uh, clothing. Flame resistant is the proper term to be using, not flame retardant, I believe. Um, yeah, I'm I'm pretty sure. Yeah, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Um, so now he is doing that, and he saves like a bunch of people and horses in that issue, and it's just a lot of fun to read that. Like, if you go through your life and you're realizing most of the time that you want to make a difference, but yet you feel like you're either scared to take that step forward, or you don't have um, the resources to take that step forward. But then all of a sudden, something happens to this guy who's in that position where all of a sudden he's been given every like gift, like, here, now do something. And that's basically what you got with this storyline, and it's very interesting, especially being somebody that is in their middle age, reading something like that, that maybe isn't the most happy with the way that their life has been going professionally, as I am. And so it's nice to see something like that, and be able to feel a little bit of influence and inspiration from something like that. And it's it's a fun book as well. Next book we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the DC book that I have sitting here. We have Poison Ivy, number 16, where the chickens are coming home to roost. Oh, golly. Um, We've got Wilson, Takara, and Prianto on this book, Better Off Dead. Holy moly, guys. If you were wondering if the activities of Poison Ivy early on in this run were going to ever come back and haunt her, this issue pretty much answers all that. It answers all that. So what I'm going to say is, yes, we are we are fixin' to have all that go down, and it starts here, where poison ivy is being encountered in the dream world by the people that she infected with the lamia spores. Um, and all that is going down in a certain way where it's possibly going to end up right on her front doorstep in actuality. Well, in actuality, as it's a book, because it's like it's fictional. Yeah, yeah. This is not real, Carrie. Um, but in the fictional world of Poison Ivy, it is going to end up on her front doorstep, and the chickens, like I said, are coming home to roost. She now has to deal with everything she did during that time period. But last but not least, by any means, y'all knew I was going to talk about this one eventually. This is Transformers #2 from the Skybound Image Fund, the Energon Universe, by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Check out this Starscream cover, y'all. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, and this is done by Daniel Warren Johnson, um, who is working on the book as well. Um, we are still in the aftermath of the Decepticons and Autobots waking up and now trying to figure out how they deal with where they are. Um, you have Starscream and their group running around trying to find energy and killing humans. And you have Optimus Prime trying to figure out how he's going to do all this stuff to help, protect the Earth and protect his kind. So Optimus Prime is good. You definitely see the the differences between the Decepticons and the Autobots. Definitely clearly shown in this issue, where you have obviously in the end of the last issue, Starscream is like smushing humans, calling them squishy, killing whatever indiscriminately because he can. Um, and then you have Optimus Prime, who accidentally steps on a deer. It's just a living thing and kills it. And he's like, "Oh my God, this is horrible. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry." And he's having definitely his realization on who he is and what he's capable of and what he can be capable of in this world. And he's hanging out with Spike and Spike's friend, and they're trying to be like, okay, so how do we do what we need to do to help you, the earth, and humans and everything like that. So while that's going on, you have the armed forces are coming to um, trying to do something about the Decepticons, and they are about to fail miserably. And here with this issue, we have an extra extra special little um uh uh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Extra special little cameo from a character that is going to be very important. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to give anything away, but the cameo is from a character that is definitely going to become extra special, important in the Energon universe. And I'm going to say that if you've been sleeping on this and waiting, get on it. It's only 2 issues deep. Get on it, because especially if you like a certain um, special forces comic book slash cartoon from the 80s, and well, I mean there are other versions of it as well, involving a special forces group of military members. You might want to take a look at this issue of Transformers. Okay, but besides that, guys, that's all we have to talk to you about today, comic book wise. Let me know what you thought in the comments, um, what you thought of the books that I read, or maybe I missed something and you want to suggest something to me. Like, let me know. And maybe if it tickles my fancy, I might check it out. Um, However, guys, we are in the last few days of voting for the CBC Awards, of which I am nominated for an award. Best Unknown Channel. Come to, you all know about me. You all know. But you know what? Here's the thing. If I get voted most unknown channel, hopefully it will mean that I be unknown no more. To be unknown no more would be wonderful. Um, so guys, if you have not voted, please do that immediately. We're in the last few days of that voting. I think it ends on the 18th. I'm not completely sure, but I think it ends on the 18th. Guys, vote for me! Vote for me! A vote for me is a vote for me. Pretty much it. I mean, it's just me on the channel, like with Joe. Joe is on the channel. Joe does stuff on the channel, but it's mostly just me. It's mostly just me. Like, come on. Vote for me. Um, Other than that, we have a GoFundMe still going for our friend of the channel, friend Jen. That information is going to be down below in the description. Please help out Jen in her fight against cancer. Also, we have a recent book that were released of poetry and short fiction by yours truly called Woke Bitch. That information is going to be down in the description as well. Thank you guys for joining us this week, but that's about it. So until next time, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. And remember, the complacent never makes a difference. Until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.